Yo, what is up everyone, Tachi here. So today we're going to be talking about the new banner that is dropping for Gretel Cleric. I am aware that we are going to be getting the reality stuff on the 30th, so it's about 4 days from now. I believe only one of those is going to be an actual banner, at least at first, which should be, I believe it is Crusher Red Riding Hood. So I will try to make a video on that one as well, but for now let's talk about this one. If you are more interested in Red Riding Hood stuff for the reality arc, then I would probably not pull on this banner, especially because of the stuff that's on it, but we will get into that as we go. Looking at the stats, pretty much a little bit of everything, with the primary focus being on HP, which it does give about 600 HP, 2 here from the Arcana, that's 400, and then another 100 at level 7 and 10. So primarily this is going to be for actual DPS classes, because again, pretty much no other job really cares about HP focus, but it is a little bit here and there for the other stats, about 100 each. Now that might not seem like a lot, but I would like to remind you guys that even though it looks like a small amount now, it does add up in the future, because again, stats from jobs are eternal, unlike weapons. But regardless, you guys are not interested in that, you guys are interested in the weapons, so let's go look at those. The first weapon is going to be the Harp, the instrument, and it is going to be a support boon too. So if you are looking to slot more L support boons, especially now that we have the rank up cap to 200, which means that you can actually fit this shit in there, then this is not a terrible choice. But my biggest problem with this one is going to be the fact that it is single target defense. You guys know how I feel about instruments and single targets. When it comes to instruments, I personally prefer attack instruments over defense instruments, and that's just coming down to the fact that when we're trying to kill the enemy, I don't care if my defense is 20 if I have no attack buffs, especially when you guys have a bunch of defense weapons, considering the average minstrel only gets, I'm gonna go ahead and say, about 300k on attack buff, but you guys get 600k on defense. Personally, I don't really care for the defense unless this is going to be swapped out with an SR that you already have in your grid. I personally would not pull for this instrument, even though it does cover both physical and magical defense, and it is a tier 3, so the ratios are probably gonna take a while to guess, 1.06. That's pretty typical for a tier 3 instrument. So it's not bad, it's average, but it's definitely not an AoE. As you can tell, it is a single target. But the support boon 2 might make your other things a little bit better, especially if you are replacing an SR that does not have support boon. But personally, not my interest. Stat wise though, it does bring very good stats, both in P and M attack, so there's that as well if you're interested in that. Personally, I would not pull on this if you are a minstrel, or a sork for that matter, but I can see why some people might, just for the support boon 2. Just personally, I'm not a big fan, especially because the job that's on this banner is not really all too hot for the backline anyways. Now the next weapon we're going to be looking at is going to be the staff. It is going to be a tier 3 single target heal that increases physical defense, and it does have replenished magic. This weapon is trash. Look, if you're going to be using an L staff that doesn't have support boon 2 and it's going to be single target, that shit better be tier 4, guys. You are not, swear to God, do not slot in a tier 3 heal single target. Come on, bro. Why? There's so many other skills that you could be using. You could be using 1.5 to target. You could be using the single target tier 4. What is it? Healing light? Just use that. Why would you use this? You guys have plenty of staffs. There's literally no reason to pull this other than stat creep. That's it. I do not think that this has a good ratio. I didn't cross check, don't get me wrong. I could be entirely wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is not going to be as good as a tier 4 healing light or whatever the hell it's called. It's just why? Man, you know what they should do on this site? They should add the ratio somewhere. That would be nice. But anyways, maybe that's asking too much. I don't like this staff at all. I can understand why you would want some single target heals. With a dual target staff, especially if you proc support boons, you're probably going to be healing for somewhere between like 15 and like 30k. Even in a situation where your guild is like legit getting wiped, wouldn't you want AoE so that you can heal up more targets so you have less of a chance of getting wiped? Because if your vanguards are getting wiped that hard, I'm pretty sure they're probably one-shotting your vanguards anyway. That's typically the case, at least. I one-shot vanguards. I think most people do with Shinmai and elemental buffs. So If you're one-shotting the enemy Vanguard, I think a single target staff is probably not going to help you too much there. You would want AoE so that you have less of a chance of getting shipped. That's actually the entire reason why people were doing that whole swap strategy in the first place. Swapping the rear guard into the front to prolong your death. That way that you guys can continue healing and not die during like an SL or an Ogre or something. But anyways, that's not the point. Moving on to the next weapon. I feel like I rambled for a while there. The next weapon is going to be an orb. No, it is a 1.5 target orb that does increase your own magical attack with mental focus. No, personally I just don't like orbs at all, but it does have 2300 magic attack. So if you are a high spender or a whale, maybe you could slot this in for a half nightmare or magic grids subgrid. I mean, eventually you're going to want to do that anyways, right? You're going to want to go ahead and start pulling stuff for your subgrid. It's soon TM. If you spend enough money, I guess. But personally, I don't do that. So I just go with whatever weapons I happen to have. Maybe I'll do a guide on that later in the future. Maybe you guys can squeeze out an extra like 5 or 1,000 magic attack from it. Moving on to the next weapon. It is going to be a bow. So we do need more bows. So that's nice. This is going to be a single target, decrease their magical defense by a small amount. Not bad. I actually kind of like those. And it does have magic defense debuff on the actual proc chats as well. So a little bit of a double whammy if you proc both of them. I think this one probably goes for like a stack and a half. And this one is usually like half a stack or maybe one stack, depending on how much buff they have. Magic attack wise, it is on the high end. I believe it might be just slightly below the invader gun. But the invader gun is legit free, so also kind of peeved I didn't finish my invader gun. I'm missing one copy because we didn't get into the top. Sad day, bro. Maybe we should have farmed more. Personally, with this banner being out, would I pull on this? If I was a half Nightmare Snow White main, I think I might do it. If there's no other guns that are coming out soonish that have DC, which I will have to look through the next like 5 to 6 banners. I'm giving leeway because I don't know what the fuck they're gonna skip next. If I take a look at the next 5 to 6 banners and like 3 of the 6 have a DC2 bow, I would probably just save. If there's no bows at all, or like one bow and it's not even DC either, I would probably pull for whichever one has magic attack, the highest magic attack, or pull for both, either or. Completely your choice. This one though, yeah, I don't think it's bad, but it's not good either. It's probably like a solid 6.5, 7 out of 10. I don't like giving number ratings too often because people disagree with them. So I'll leave that as it is. And then the next one is going to be Scarlet. Stat wise, you know, she's never going to be like a paid nightmare, but she does have pretty decent stats. And she does massively reduce the SP cost of fire weapons. Now, you guys might be wondering, wait, well, why would we use Scarlet instead of just using Eris? And the reason why is because when it's a single element that is being reduced, the percentage of the boost, or should I say reduction of SP cost, is slightly higher than Eris is. I don't have the numbers with me, but let's pretend, let's use hypothetical numbers. Let's say Eris is 35% reduction. That would mean that Scarlet would probably be about like 45 or 50% reduction instead. So it's a slightly higher percentage wise. Personally, I don't think that has much usage. I would prefer being able to cover all elements, at least until maybe we start having mono grids, but that's nowhere near now. I don't know if this has long staying power in terms of the meta. I'm not too familiar with JP meta in terms of nightmares. I do know some of them, like for example, Blue Poppy, the thingy that gives you increased proc chance of support skills. That one is definitely meta even to this day in JP, so always a good pull for people. At least stat wise though, if you do MLB this is actually not too bad for a physical. You guys see it has 1900 physical attack. That is not too bad. If I go take a look at the nightmares and sort them by physical attack, hopefully I'm on JP, nope, I mean global. That is going to be right around the second highest, right behind Dryas, so actually it might even be ahead of Dryas. So it's not too bad if you are a physical DPS and you're trying to eke out a little bit more in terms of your physical attack. So that is an option for people who are spending. I don't know if that's a good option for non-spenders, especially since there are no physical weapons on that banner for you. You would pretty much just be pulling it for the HP. I don't think this banner is worth pulling on at all, personally. I personally would not pull on this banner regardless of what role I was, at all. Feel free to disagree with me in the comments down below, and I will take a look at the arguments that you guys have made. Maybe that will change my mind, probably not, but feel free to. Anyways guys, that is going to be the end of this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. For now though, I am out. Have a nice day.